welcome to my channel. I posted a video in regards to my 1 month update on a GLP-1, and I just realized that you guys don't even know who I am. Well, I would like to introduce to myself. My name is Penny. It's very nice to meet you, and I am currently on a journey to wellness. Well, actually, I'm always on a journey to wellness. I'm also known as Penny's Journey for Life, My Journey for Life, and Lucky X Penny. Those are just some of the things that I am known as or tagged on in social media. I'm kind of like everywhere. I've been on this journey so many times around, and this is the first time that I am incorporating a GLP-1 into my journey. So just to get to know a little bit about myself, I am on a 5'3" frame, and I, at my starting point, started at 225 pounds. I actually stopped weighing myself for a very, very long time when I saw the scale hit 220. And I know at some point there, I went all the way up to probably like 225, maybe even 230. So yes, all I know is my clothes at one point went all the way up to a size 18. Pretty damn ridiculous. And I'm not proud of that, but I also know there's a couple different things going on with me, which is causing my weight gain and weight loss and fluctuation in weights and not being able to lose the weight even though I am eating healthy. I'm watching my macros, I'm working out, I'm exercising, I'm doing all those things, but nothing seems to work for me. So back in 2011, I was diagnosed with PCOS, hypothyroidism, insulin resistant, and endometriosis. So I literally have everything that has to do with hormones against me. So because of all of that, it has been a very, very difficult task in trying to actually lose weight. Back in February, I actually purchased the Peloton from a good friend, and I was actively on the Peloton 5 to 6 days a week, every single day, 4 to 7 miles. And I did this for consistently 4 to 5 months, and nothing, zero. No weight loss at all whatsoever. At the time that I had started, I was at 213 pounds. I was fluctuating between 213 and 215. And in the amount of time that I was working out and on the Peloton, I was walking, I was pretty active, honestly, and I eat really well. Like, I cook all of our meals, very whole foods. I eat a lot of vegetables, I eat a lot of protein. I really watch my carbs. I didn't lose a weight. I didn't lose a thing. I did not lose one thing. And then one day, I got really sick. I remember the day very vividly, July the 5th. I got really sick. I came down with pneumatic bronchitis, so pneumonia and bronchitis all at the same time. And I was bedridden for 2 whole weeks. It wasn't COVID, but I was bedridden for 2 whole weeks. I could not eat, I could not drink, I could not intake in any type of sustenance. The only thing I was able to intake or eat was bone broth. 2 weeks, I basically was intermittent fasting because I had no choice. I couldn't intake any type of food other than bone broth, and maybe on the occasion a little bit of like chicken noodle soup with just a little bit of pieces of chicken if it was like really like blended into like a paste or became soup, basically like a very thick soup. That was the only way I was able to eat anything or get any type of protein in my system. So when I got better, and I remember I actually did not get better until like the 25th of July, I ended up I weighed myself. I remember finally being able to get up, go do things. I decided to weigh myself. And when I weighed myself, the scale went all the way down to like 200 pounds. That was crazy. So that meant that in the 2 weeks that I was sick, I had went from between 213, 215, all the way down to like 201 and 200 pounds. So I lost like 13, 15 pounds in the 2 weeks based off of intermittent fasting that was not by choice. So when I realized that, something in me clicked. I had a click moment. I was like, this is ridiculous. I am putting all this effort, exuding all of this output into the world, working out, eating well, and nothing, no results, no weight loss, nothing at all. I did have a little bit of like extra stamina, so I was a lot more like active and had a lot more energy, But as far as weight loss goes, nothing. I was still the same weight, still wearing the same size clothes. So I lost no weight, nothing at all. Then when I got sick, I lost around between 13 to 15 pounds. That was pretty crazy. And then of course, when I got my appetite back, I ended up gaining about 5 pounds back. So I went back to 205.6, which was still actually under the original weight I was before I got sick. So that actually really kicked off my weight loss journey. Again, this is my 100th billionth time that I've done a weight loss journey. I've literally gone through, I've done everything: keto diets, intermittent fasting, OMAD, juicing, just working out, doing Taibo, doing kickboxing, doing jump roping, swimming, and also having a nutritionist giving me an actual nutrition plan, a meal plan, Weight Watchers, Jenny Trek. I've literally done everything that you can imagine under the sun. And I'll tell you what, they did work. Originally, they do work. You know, of course, when you have the idea in your head to go ahead and do this weight loss journey, you follow it through as much as you can, and it works. And then something happens, life happens, and then it just falls through. And then something else happens, right? And then it just never continues, and then my weight just climbs right back up. So I did have a pretty successful weight loss journey back in 2017, and I did Gage Girl Trained in Nutrition, where she was like my trainer, my nutritionist. She gave me a meal plan. We did with keto. We did like the shred program and stuff like that. And before that, I was already losing weight, but then like literally stuff happened in between, and you know, I was able to keep that weight off for maybe a good like year and a half, but then I got sick again, and then I wasn't able to continue with that same meal plan because they're not sustainable. I mean, she's great. She helps to set you up and get you started on your weight loss journey, and I love her plans. I would definitely go back to that at some point in my life because I think her plans are really great. But for me, because I was going through so many other health issues, that it didn't really address the internal things that was going on inside my body. And it was kind of really difficult for me to kind of like proceed and continue. So after a while, my body just kind of went into a stall. Like it recognized the type of food I was eating, and it just didn't really like go beyond a certain point, you know? But it was great, and eventually maybe I might go back to it. So anyways, there have been so many different health things that have been happening to me recently. After being that sick, I ended up getting random allergic reactions to random types of foods that I had never been allergic to. For instance, shellfish. I've always been able to eat shrimp my entire life. And then recently, I cannot eat shrimp. I will break out in hives. And I recently had a case of anaphylaxis, and I was rushed to the emergency room, and I had to have a shot of epinephrine, so an EpiPen. So now I have to carry an EpiPen with me everywhere I go. So it's kind of crazy. Like right now, today, if you can't already tell, like I am actually having some type of allergic reaction to something, because I am like really itchy right here in my neck, throat area. And I think it wasn't what I ingested. I think it was something I put on last night. It's like some type of cream that I got. And I'm gonna stop using it because it's like really itchy all day today. And so I worked with an allergist, and my allergist says that the reason why I'm having random hives, I'm basically kind of getting chronic hives, is because it probably has something to do with my hormones, my Hashimoto's. And so he suggested that I speak with my endocrinologist, which I literally got in hold of her like the next day, and we got an appointment within that same week. And we kind of discussed everything that was kind of going on with me in that last several week of getting sick and then losing so much weight. No matter how much activity that I was doing, I still wasn't losing weight, and the type of food I was intaking. I even like showed her my part 2 of Who Am I? So anyway, so I was working with my endocrinologist. We got all of our blood panels and our lipid panels. She looked at everything, my A1C, my cholesterol and everything, and definitely has gone down since the last time I had seen her, which was 6 months prior. So, but it wasn't kind of like matching with like all the records that I had been keeping, you know, as far as like being active, that I on my Apple Watch, you can see all the activity that I've been doing. You can also see I kept track of my macros that I was intaking through Carb Manager, and I literally printed it all out for her to show her, and still nothing. And the only time we saw any type of results was when I wasn't eating. And we both came to the conclusion that this is definitely something to do with my A1C, because I am now at this point pre-diabetic, and that she suggested that maybe I look into doing a GLP-1. And so she basically wrote me a prescription for Zepbound, but because that is made for really weight loss, kind of like a cosmetic thing, my insurance definitely wouldn't have paid for that. So then she ended up doing Mounjaro prescription for me. And we did, like, she actually gave me a physical prescription as well as an electronic prescription. So I went to go get it, and it's sold out literally everywhere. Everywhere sold out. Back stock. And there was no time frame as to when they'll be able to get it. In the meantime, I know I needed to get like a prior authorization. And because I knew I had to go through the prior authorization, it can delay up for a few weeks. And I was at this point kind of like, I need to do it now or I will never do it. So I kind of like was on TikTok, and I kind of fell into a rabbit hole of all things GLP-1. And an ad came up for Join Friday, which I never literally knew anything about whatever Join Friday was. It just kind of kept popping up and consistently. And so these ads really do work. And then I was kind of looking into it, and I remember somebody on the app was talking about insulin resistant and Hashimoto's and PCOS and all of the things that I'm having and going through with. And I was like, oh, what? Really? This helped with that as well? So I clicked in it, fell into the rabbit hole of all things GLP-1. I came back out. I literally joined Friday. And I don't remember what day it was that I joined Fridays, but when I signed up, I literally signed up the end of January. I think it was like 27th of January. By the 2nd, I got my medication. It was like that quick. I literally got my medication within 4 business days. And I got my first compounded trizepetide, and I had my first injection on the 4th, was it? The 4th? No, the 2nd. The 2nd was my first injection of trizepetide, compounded trizepetide at 2.5 milligrams. So that was pretty darn amazing. So as a kid, I was very sick. We came here to America when I was about 2.5 years old. And I do remember my mom telling me when I was a kid, when I was 2 years old, I got really, really sick back in Thailand, where I was born. And then when we came back here to America, I was kind of always constantly sick. I was never really healthy, my mom said. And then from the ages of like 10 to like 16, I was in and out of the hospital. Maybe even younger than that. I kind of like blocked that whole portion of my life out because I was in and out of the hospital. I was kind of going through like a lot of different types of treatments. And I remember like there was time where I was so behind in school that the school teachers were thinking that I should be held back. But my mom didn't want that to happen. So we did a lot of my work. I had to catch up on a lot of my work when I got back. And I had extra like additional help from tutors or whatever that was, just so that I can be in school and catch up with kids. I definitely was behind. Like even like I remember getting sick, being in the hospital, and then all of a sudden something else would happen and I would be back in the hospital, and I would be back for months and months and months at a time. It was kind of crazy. So during that time, I blocked a lot of it out. And I guess my mom had told me recently, actually she told me, I didn't even know, I didn't remember because I was so young, I did not remember. My mom told me that the doctor had told me that there is a possibility that I will never ever be able to have children because of all of the things I had gone through as a kid, that it had made me possibly infertile. And you know, as a kid, you don't really think about that. You don't like, oh, you know, maybe I will never have kids. You know, you don't ever think about that, you know. And then it wasn't until my early 20s, actually, I was 20 years old, was when I met my husband. Actually, I met my husband when I was 19, 18 and a half, 19. And at 20, you know, we became pregnant. We were already engaged, and I remember we we started life really early, like for the both of us. When I met my husband, I knew he was the one, and we kind of like were at that point just like inseparable. We knew we were going to be each other's forever, and so we got pregnant, and I got married. We got married. I was literally into my third trimester when we got married, and we literally had a miracle child. I actually did not know I was pregnant until I was actually in the end of my second trimester, because I've never really had normal, menstrual cycles. I just wasn't normal hormonally regularly. And then when I found out that I got pregnant, I told my mom, thinking that she would be very upset with me because we're a very traditional Asian family. She instead was crying, and she was so happy, and she was very excited for us because she had told me that she had reminded me that when I was younger, I was so sick that she thought that she was told that I would not have been able to have children. And the fact that I have now conceived and I'm already past 6 months, that our child was a miracle child, and he absolutely is a miracle child. He is just one of a kind. My son now is 21, and he's healthy, and he's great, and we love him so much. And as far as my health goes, I'm constantly now battling with all of the things health-wise, hormonally now. I'm 40. I'm in my 40s now, and I'm working through things, and I'm trying my best to get past this phase of my life. And I'm hoping that this GLP-1 journey will help me in getting my hormones right. And with all the other things that I have to deal with, I'm at least trying to prolong my life for 20 more years, 50 more years, if possible. I would love to be able to be around for whenever I do have grandchildren of my own. And yeah, so I feel very, very lucky, and I'm very humbled by all the experiences that I've had medically and still having right now. And I'm definitely hoping that all the things that I'm dealing with, aside from all my hormonal stuff, there are other things that I still need to go see the doctors for, that we are working through, and hoping that those things will work itself out, and or find that it really is nothing. And in the meantime, I'm just going to take life with a grain of salt, cherish every moment I have, take the opportunity to really better myself, and mentally, emotionally, physically, be stronger. So here's my journey. I hope you guys stick around. I will try to post as much as I can with updates on what I eat, weekly and monthly, and maybe even daily, because I do keep a daily vlog on my phone. But I will talk to you guys later. I appreciate you guys if you guys have stuck around this far. And if you have been around this far, I would like that you leave a little heart at the end, so I know that you guys are still here with me. I will talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.